Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Inessa and I am the owner of Fritter Crochet, which is a new Etsy shop for amigurumi crochet patterns. I have been crocheting for a bit, but I'm brand new to the art of being a pattern designer for amigurumis. And so I figured I'd take you along with me by creating this channel so we can go on my fun little designer slash crochet slash fiber art slash everything that I like that involves yarn adventures. So if that sounds like something that you want to be a part of, then make sure that you subscribe. I only have a few subscribers here. I do have another author channel that is much larger in size. It has a bigger community there. And so I really love being on YouTube. And I figured, why not do this as well? So last week, I took you on my little side quest of learning how to knit. And I'm learning how to knit socks. And I took you along with me. I have been making quite the progress on that. So stay tuned for my kind of like wrap up, my first quarter wrap up of everything I've crocheted in 2025, because you will be seeing some socks in there, I believe. I'm really liking it. I've made changes, so go watch the video and take a look at some of my thoughts. So I've made some of those changes that I said I was going to make. But today we are starting a different vlog. I'm really excited for this one. So if you don't know me in real life, I do have a toddler. So I have a toddler girl who's very rambunctious. But the reason I say this is because she loves everything I make. So usually before I make, these are some of my little creations. And actually the pattern as I'm doing this, so if you haven't seen, but the pattern for Archie, my very first pattern, is now up on Etsy. So this is Archie the alligator. He's a dapper gentleman. He's got a little top hat. So he is dressed in his Victorian kind of outfit. And all of the animals that I'm making in this first line are all going to have Victorian outfits inspired by Victorian times. So Archibald the alligator is out right now, so go grab him. But whenever I make patterns and I design patterns, I usually have several iterations. And so my daughter gets to play with like the rejected pile and she loves them. She actually loves them when they're extra quirky and have mistakes. So she's only 3. She doesn't know any better. But her birthday is coming up. And it's coming up in April. And I thought what better way to surprise this kid than to make her, I think we all know what this is, and I'm sure you saw from the thumbnail, but I am making her the viral mushroom guy, and I'm making him in toddler sized, hopefully. So I wanted to document this because I know people have been having like, not issues, but because the pattern's great. I've read over the pattern. It looks fantastic. But like it becomes really large and the head sometimes wobbles and all this stuff. So I figured why not document me going through all the same issues because that should be good. I love seeing myself fail and hopefully you will as well, but hopefully I won't fail. Let's hope that this cap, so the mushroom cap actually fits on his head, because I heard that was like, from what I've seen, that was one of the issues people were having, was they were making the hat like too big, the actual mushroom part, and it was just like swallowing and the head hole. So I hope we don't have it. So I have my yarn, and this is going to be the first one. I want to make, my dad is just watching my little girl right now because he's a blessed human being. And I thought I have some time to myself, so I'm going to try to make at least the head of it because I have eyes that I want to test out. So I've got some yarn. I am working with Bernat blanket, and don't come at me because I know some people do love it, but I know when you're making plushies, it's usually good to use like a Premier chunky yarn, or even the loops and threads like home slim, I believe, because they are like very soft and very silky, and I get it. But I can't, guys. The shedding on those yarns, it drives me insane. Like, absolutely, I can't. I'm the kind of person that vacuums her house twice a day. It's probably some sort of disorder. I'm sure it's not great, but I am very obsessed. Like, I'm super obsessed with cleaning, and I'm very particular about that stuff. But so I can't, the shredding and all the little pieces that come off the yarn, and it just aggravates me. It's too much. I don't like things stuck to my clothes. I did grow up with a cat, and I will tell you that I used to vacuum myself and all around the cat, and I used to like go through those little things, that the lint removers, like you wouldn't believe. I would just go through like one a week at least. So I'm very particular about that stuff. I know it's not healthy, but this is just how I am. So we deal with it, you know? And so I couldn't do it. So I figured that I'm going to do it with Bernat blanket because that yarn, for the life of me, I can't figure it out, but it does not shed at all, like at all. And so I got a whole bunch of colors, and I already had it from when I made some other plushies. So I have the white. This one is the crisp white. I can't remember the names of them, but I will put the names in the descriptions, obviously, because I ripped off all the tags, like just too excited, too eager. So just a really bright white. I got this kind of like bright taupe. I guess it's a taupe. It's more like a skin color, almost like a light skin color, maybe like an olivey skin color. Light taupe, like beige, whatever it is, for the underneath of the mushroom, and that little collar that the mushroom guy has. And then I know the mushroom is in red for most of these, but we love pastel in our house, and so I am going with this purple shade. I also did have a pink, the kind of like a more brighter candy pink, but when I put them all together, these colors, the pink color almost like faded. It just kind of faded into all of these, like it was a little too light. And so I saw this, and I have more of this. So I'm hoping this will be enough for the full cap. But I had more of this, and the color just worked better. And so I figured I will do that. So that's kind of what we're using for yarn. But I also have two eyes that I want to kind of figure out. So once I make the head, I'm going to put them on and put the purple on top to kind of see what eye color I want for these. So I have these 25, I believe they use a 24 in the big, but they use a hobby yarn. So we'll see. But I have, these are the two eye options. Hopefully it focuses. So we've got this one here, which is like a kind of a darker purple that matches that the yarn perfectly, the mushroom cap. But this one, it's a pink, but it's got purple undertones, and it actually looks really, really pretty as well. It's a bit lighter, and so it does pick up the purples as well when you put it up. So once I have the head done, I'm going to put both of these up and put kind of like a fake, just the yarn skein on top to see which one works better. But for now, let's get this head started. I have some time before my poor father would have had enough of my child climbing over him. And so I figured let's turn some YouTube on and get to making this head, because I don't think it will take very long with the blanket yarn. Okay, so I've got about three decrease rounds left before I fasten off and finish this guy off. The head is, I mean, quite large. It's like half the size of my head. So it is big. I do have a massive cone. I probably should have skipped the Magic Ring 6 and done a Magic Ring 8 instead to fix that. But I'm looking at the picture, and it's a very cone-like head in the picture of the pattern as well. So I'm thinking when I stuff it, I could strategically stuff it to stretch it to the side a bit more. So it's got that like ovally almost shape and not like such a cone head. This is just with my fist inside of it. So for the eyes, so I don't know if you can see, but I've put up this yarn and I really do feel that the purple eyes are just like these ones here. They just match the yarn so well. And so I think I'm going to do that. I also feel like I may have spaced the eyes a little too far apart. So when I place the other one, I'll place it a bit closer together. And I am going to embroider the little line. So if you've seen the pattern, it's got like a little line, just like a stitch down basically. Of the mouth, and I'm going to embroider that before I stuff and fasten off, because I like to embroider before I do any stuffing or fastening off. I know some people like to embroider after, but whenever I have a chance to do it before, I just like it better. The ends are cleaner for me. It's just not as loose, and I feel like I have a bit better control of it when it's something simple like that. If it's a full face embroidered, and obviously I want to stuff it to make sure that it all looks good, but for the most part, like this, it's just a line, so I can do that before I stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and do that stuff, and hopefully I have enough time to show it to you guys before I have to let my dad go for the day. Babysitter has to go home, you know. The head is done. I really love him. He's super cute. I did work the stuffing, like I said, and I did manage to get rid of a lot of that coniness. It does look exactly like the picture now in the pattern, but I just really like him. He looks so derpy with his like giant eyes. This is my first time using gigantic eyes like this. I don't make like massive plushies like this. Usually my dolls are like very small and they're done in like almost fingering weight young, basically. And so this for me is like really exciting because I get to use these beautiful glitter kind of crossed looking eyes where they're looking at the nose. But that's the head. And I got to tell you, I used up like quite a ton of yarn already. So I'm definitely going to have to go and get another skein of the Bernard blanket in the white, because this was just the head. And I mean, it's big, but it's not like so big that I really thought I was going to use less yarn. So you live, you learn. I'm going to go pick up another skein probably as I start running out on the body. I'll start making the legs, the bum and the belly and see how it goes. But really, really liking this. Like, he's so cute. Like, the face already is just so adorable, and he's looking just so like a little dumpling. We actually have these dolls that talk, and they're like little dumplings with feet. So he kind of looks like that, and I love him. We're gonna have to think of a name. I mean, I will need to let my daughter name him, so I'll let you know what she comes up with, but so far, so good. It took me about just like over an hour to make this. I had some hiccups at the beginning where I lost count what I was doing on the increases, and I ended up with like random stitches, so I had to redo some stuff. But otherwise, yeah, about an hour or so to make the head. And so I don't think it will be too long of a project. Definitely, like, I gave myself a month to do it. I'm not going to need that long. I'm hoping to finish it this week, but we'll see how it goes. I think the hat is quite large, so it might take a bit of time, and we'll also see how long the body takes. So far, so good. I'm liking this. So I'll see you for the next part of the vlog, and we'll start working on, I believe the body is next for this. So that's kind of the next one. All right. But look at him. So cute. It is the next day. I don't have too much time, but I definitely want to get more done. And this mushroom guy, because of how much time I have on my hands, it might take me longer than a week, but we're going to keep this vlog going until I finish this adorable little creature. The head alone, so I already showed it before, but it's so precious. I'm obsessed with the head. I know it's going to be super cute. Hopefully the mushroom head part doesn't get messed up and we'll be good to go. But I'm thinking I have my instructions. I have my hook. Oh, by the way, I'm using the Furrows Metal Streamline hook in a 5.5. It is a bit looser for Bernard blanket. Like, I probably could have gone down to a 5, but I really like this for thicker yarn. I like the weight of it. So I'm okay with it. There's absolutely no, like, when I stuffed the head, there was no holes. There was no showing of the fiber fill. So I think we're all good. So I'm set. I'm ready. I'm going to put on YouTube. And then my plan is to get through both legs and join them together. So it seems like a very simple join. I'm not going to say what it is, obviously, because of, I don't want to give away the pattern. But if you've done dolls legs of any kind in amigurumi before. It's a very simple like chain and join kind of situation here. So it seems pretty easy going. I'm going to see like I really want to get both legs done, join them, and then if I have time, maybe go around a little bit in the body just to kind of give it like a more concrete joint so that when I put it down, it's not like wobbly all over the place. But I do have a ton of other stuff to do. I did do photography for Brienne. So this is Brienne. Whoop. This is Brienne the bunny. She is going to be going up for tester calls this month, and then the pattern itself will be coming out this month as well, because next month Maurice is coming out, the mouse, right before I leave on vacation. So I do want to get her tester call, and hopefully maybe even Maurice's tester call will be out this month as well. So I had to do photography for that, which kind of pushed my whole day for a bit. I also had client calls, things like that. I am still making my way through the knitting of the socks, so lots to do, but I really want to get the legs done. So let's chit chat, let's get going, let's get the legs of this mushroom guy done. I am super excited to see what they look like because they look super chunky and cute. We have one leg. So I did this one. It didn't take very long. My brain is just not braining today. I think I've got like a lot going on. And for some reason I had so much trouble getting started on this. Like it starts with a magic ring 5, which I guess it is for the point. But I think my stuff comes out pretty pointy in general. So in this so far, so I could have started with the 6, and the 5 just threw me off. And then the way the pattern's written, and not all patterns are written in different ways. And I've seen patterns written this way before, but this pattern does its increases and decreases on the first stitch of the round. And I usually prefer when that's flipped. I don't like to start my round with increases and decreases. So whatever I can help it, I like it to be the other way around, but I wanted to follow the pattern as is. And so, that's where I'm at. And the way the increases were staggered, they were kind of, because we weren't increasing in the standard, like 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, they were kind of all, like a grouping of 3 increases in one and then single crochet. And I just, again, my brain is not there, so it kept throwing me off. But we have a leg. The first leg is done. This is the first. They just say first. They don't say left or right. But normally this would be the left leg. So the left leg is done. I've tucked in the tails. I fasten off. I'm going to do the right leg, and then I'm going to do the joining just so we can see the 2 legs together, and then I'll kind of show you the pieces that I have so far before continuing on the next day. We have 2 legs. The legs are joined. They weren't so bad. One is somehow pointier than the other. It will resolve itself during stuffing. It will be fine. I will say, okay, so I've had again, probably a me issue. I just, I'm used to the way that I write patterns, I guess, and some of the other ones that, I've done. So like we're joining them with the chain, obviously. And I should have just done it my way. And usually when I join in a chain in my patterns, I, instruct people, when you're doing that go around the first round after joining in the chain to go into the chain bump on the back, because that way I find you don't get any of the spaces to sew up later, because a lot of times when you join legs in a chain, like I have a space here that I will need to go back and sew up later. Again, a preference, it's just less sewing that way. We also are ending the round like on the chain, like literally like on the chain. The last stitch of the round before was on the chain, that second chain stitch. And not I'm not a huge fan of that, because I find that this is such a finicky area when you're doing this. Like once you're more in the body, it's fine. I am sure that this is probably done because there's going to be some bum shaping, which is going to be really cute. So hopefully that's why it's done. If not a big deal, because I am using the chunkier yarn, and so it's so big and easy to hold, and it's not a huge deal anyways. But again, personal preferences, no need to nitpick. But we have a head and we have some legs, and I am anticipating just all the cuteness in between. I can't wait. So tomorrow we're gonna keep going with this. It's getting big. This is how much yarn I have left. So let me show you. I have this left, which is for sure not enough to do the body. So I will need to go out and pick up another one of these. I'll have to do it tomorrow. I will have to say, so I don't know if you're kind of using blanket yarn, Bernat blanket a lot, but the white in Bernat blanket, and I have heard other people say this before, it is so much softer than the rest of the blanket yarn in this line. And I don't know if it's because there's no dye that's getting added to it. Could be, but either way, it is like a little cloud. And so I am glad that the full body of this is in the white, because it doesn't feel like a blanket yarn. It does feel a lot more plushy. It feels a lot closer to like a Premier Chunky for this, or a Bernat velvet, even without that sheen. And so I'm pretty happy with it. I will go out tomorrow. I'll pick up another one of these. I'll have to double check. I don't know if Michael's is having like a sale on these right now or not. But if not, I mean, obviously I can still use a coupon. But if they are having some sort of sale, that'll be nice too. Although sometimes they have those sales where it's like buy 3, get 1 free. And I don't need 3 of these. And I don't need 3 Bernat yarns in general. I'm actually trying to get through the stash I have, and because I'm mostly like using wool or cotton blend now these days, or like a mohair for knitting. So I don't really need it. So I'm trying to make my way through it, but I like to bounce them. But yeah, this is where we are. We've got legs and we've got a head, and we're making our way through it. So let's keep going and see how far we can get tomorrow. Welcome to my bed. I'm taking it a bit easy today. So I'll show you what I got done. So this is the next day, by the way. So yesterday I kind of been making my way through the legs and the bottom part. And I got to the point where you kind of start decreasing now and making him like a bit longer. So that's what it looks like. Definitely have that like hole I don't like in between the legs when you join straight into the chain, and you don't join into the back bump of the chain. But I will have to fix that, obviously before I start stuffing. So probably pretty soon. I might just I'll see what I have. I have like a decent amount inside the leg here that I could maybe work with to fix that. Or maybe I'll just get like another, when I finish this, I'll leave a bit behind before I start the next one or something, and I'll fix that up. But I'm going to see what I can get done today. I am taking part of the Crochetpreneur seminar. Is it? I guess it's a summit. It's an online summit. So it's a bunch of workshops. And it's really fun. I've just been putting that on and working away. But I kind of wanted to take it easy. I did take it easier yesterday. I only did this much because I'm feeling the pain. You guys, I'm getting older. I can't just crochet for hours and especially because I am still like knitting those socks. And so there's like a lot of going on in my right hand. And so I think I might just be wearing my compression gloves today to do this. And I'll see how far I can get today. Kind of maybe continue on into tomorrow. Oh. I don't know why I find that. I'm like a little crap hand. It's so silly. Anyways, yeah. So I'll see what I do today. I'll figure out what I can do tomorrow, and then we'll kind of like catch up tomorrow to see where I'm at before I take a break, maybe for the weekend, depending on where timing is. But this is what we got. It's looking good. It's really shaping up. We got hands. I am thinking the bum is going to start taking shape as we do the decreases. I'm thinking they're strategically placed to get that little bump in the back. So let's see what we can do today, and we'll catch up after I'm done. It's hectic. I'm back in bed. It's progressively gotten messier around me. It's the next day. I've been doing a lot on this little mushroom guy, and check him out. Not entirely done yet, but the body's ready, and I can't look at the booty. So this is kind of like shaped. I think I might have overstuffed a little bit, but I'm going to bring a lot of it up into the neck to keep it more kind of sturdy. But look at his sweet little body. Let's look at it from the head. I'm so excited. I can't even deal. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's the bomb. Oh my gosh. He's so cute. He's like a sweet little alien. So this is ready. I also did one thing. So it's getting pretty heavy over here. And the mushroom hat's going to be really hard. So I made a neck sausage. So if you've never made one of these before, essentially it's basically the size, like the diameter of your neck that you would stuff inside, and you put some kind of wire or something sturdy inside. And I put those fluffy wires that you would get in craft stores that you could just bend, that kids make things out of. I don't know what they're called, but they're like wires. I got them in white color because that matches everything. And I closed it up and I made it the same amount of stitches across as a tube and just a bit longer. And so I'm just going to literally like, see if I can do this while I have you. I might have to like stuff a bit more after I get off camera. But essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to stuff him into this neck hole, like all the way down. And then I'm going to close it up. And that way the head won't bobble because it's going to have something sturdy to kind of hold the neck in place. So that's my plan. You can't attach the head yet because you need like the neck ruffle and everything. So that's going to be in the next catch up that I give you guys. And we're going to do that together maybe on camera. But I didn't, I filmed the whole video. I'm also working on something really fun and hopefully it'll already be up by the time you watch this. But I'm making a crochet planner, like a one that you can print out. And I'm getting it printed for myself in like a bound paperback book. So I'm super excited. But that's a lot of files that I'm designing. I'm a real planner girly, you know? And so everything I like to have the planners, I like to have it all worked out. And so I designed a really, really cute one for the shop. And so I'm going to have that up, and hopefully that'll be out by the time you guys watch this. But I want to like kind of promote it this week as well, because I figured I'm releasing patterns like fairly slowly. There's only so many patterns I can like design in the time that I have. And so in between, I wanted to put something else in the shop that's, that helps like the community and people who love to crochet, people who love planners and knitting things. And so this one's really cool. It will have pretty much everything. So there's a lot of pages I'm designing. It's going to have like monthly planners that are themed. It's also going to have project planners that you can print out as many times as you want. Or if you're like me, you can double up on these like in the design and take them to a print shop and have them like bind it in the book for you in a planner. Or you can just print them out at home and put them in whatever binding system that you like for your planners. And they're going to come in several sizes. So I'm designing them in A5, half letter, Happy Planner Classic, and letter size. So it's a lot of work for me, but I'm super excited. It's really cute. And I really like the layouts and everything that you can work with. There's like note sections. There's stash sections that you can like record your yarn stash, your hook inventory, what other stashes do I have? I know I have a lot. What am I working with here? Oh my God. Anyways, it'll come to me. I've just been looking at this all day, so my eyes are like a little bit cross-eyed. But it's, there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's like wish list, things for if you watch tutorials, like everything that I can think of that I would personally need and want in one place. And I put that in there. And I'm going to put it up, and I'm going to put all the sizes in one listing. So if you have multiple plans or you want to try stuff out, you don't have to buy like a million different listings. So it's all going to be in one, and it's going to be there. And I will work on the knitting one in the future, but this one is for crochet. But really the only differentiation between that and knitting would be the abbreviations, all the crochet abbreviations that I added in there, and the hook inventory list. Otherwise, I might add some other knitting specific stuff when I do the knitting one, but it would be pretty close to this one. So that's the plan. But so far, we've got a body. I'm really excited, and I will see you guys in the next vlog to see how this turned out. Bye. Both arms done. I kind of strayed a bit off the pattern for these because the pattern doesn't stay to stuff them, and I know a lot of times a lot of patterns don't stuff their arms when it comes to amigurumi, but I don't like that look. I don't like when they're all like floppity, and I'm giving this to my daughter to play with, so I'm assuming she doesn't like, she'll want like little cozies to like grip onto, and I just find that they look a little bit better when they're chunkier in the arm, so that's just a personal preference. So I did stuff them. The other thing that it also doesn't say is to close off the arms. They just say to sew them on like through both, and I find that very difficult, especially with blanket yarn, like unnecessarily difficult for me. And so I did stitch up, like I folded the arms in half and I stitched them up down the center, like just using a single crochet. So that's kind of like where I changed the pattern on the arms to make it easier for me. And then I also made the little neck frill. I do kind of wish that I strayed from the pattern a little bit from this as well, and I wish that I did it says to do like a double crochet increase, which by the way, during an increase into a chain on blanket yarn is like my personal hell, I'm sure. But I kind of wish I did a triple increase instead to kind of make it even more, like add more frills to it, so it almost looks like those like clown collars that you see sometimes with like really Victorian looking ones. So like to show you an example of the way that I had like Brianny's done with the triples. You just it just gives you like more frill, and so I do wish I kind of did that instead, but I did stick to the pattern. I did the doubles, and it does look good. Like once it's open, it kind of looks like a scrunchie for his neck. But the next step now is basically to put the body, like the arms and this all together, and the head on, and then we can do the hat after. But this is so exciting because we're gonna see him like all together. So let's go sew it all up, and then I'll be right back with the final for the body at least. Are you ready for this? Oh my god. Look how cute. Like, look at him. Oh my, look at the bum. Look at this. He's so cute. Oh my gosh. So I modified again. I did some changes just to make it more what I wanted it to be. So first of all, so the arms are stuffed, like I mentioned, they're here. Because I added the neck, I really, as you can tell, there is no wobbly head on this guy, which is awesome. But because I added the hard neck sausage or a pouch, neck pouch, I guess, tube, that's what it's called, the neck tube. Sausage, ew. So because I added the tube inside that to keep it like really hard, I had to attach the head a little bit differently, and for another reason too, which I'll talk about in a second. So the way the pattern tells you to attach the head is to take that string that gets left over from the body and feed it through with the tapestry needle through the head to the top, down around the neck, kind of secure it and do it a couple of times, which sounds all like wonderful in practice. However, when you tightly, like I do, because I really like a tight stuffed body and head and shape in my choice. When you do that, you could break a hand trying to get that tapestry needle through all of that fiberfill that's really tightly stuffed. It's nearly impossible sometimes. And also when you start really pulling on it to get the head down on the neck to sit over that neck tube and just over a neck in general, so it's not like wobbly, it starts to pull it down. So it creates like, it wouldn't matter in this case because there's going to be a cap that he has on. So it doesn't matter if it like flattened out his head. Maybe it would have been even better to flatten out his head more, but I didn't want that. It started to make his head kind of oblong, which I didn't like. And so what I did was I did go through it the one time very loosely. I didn't tighten or anything. And then afterwards, I just kind of attached his head the same way you would attach any other amigurumi head. Like I sewed around. The only difference, what I did to really make it sit like kind of sandwich over the head. And if you look here, it looks like it's hard to tell with this, but it looks like it's a continuation of the body. What I did was I went through 2 body stitches and then overlapped, and I went up. I didn't do the final stitch of the round of the head. I went up 2 rows, like a row. So 2 rows in, and I kind of went through it and I stretched that over really smoothly over the whole thing. And that just made it look a bit more fluid. I'm going to be honest, like I kind of wish there was none of this interruption in the body between the head and this and the neck. Like I kind of wish it was all knit, like crocheted in one piece, which there was plenty of space for it to be that. Like we could have just color switched for this and like left like some front rows, like front loops to attach to from this, and then continued on with the neck, put the tube inside, stuffed it, and then kept going with the head to give it this kind of shape, and ended here. Instead of having these pieces, it would have been less sewing too. And then we could have gone back with this color and attached onto those front loops and done the collar all around. So there was space to do that. And I kind of wish that was done before because the sewing was a little bit annoying. And I really don't like sewing heads because for me, they're always sideways. I don't know what it is. Even when I design my own things, like it is so much work to make the heads like really in front for me. And so, but otherwise, like, oh my God, I don't know if this is really toddler size. Like, it's definitely like a baby sized. My toddler is maybe my toddler is just ginormous. It's not a toddler size. It's quite large though, and it is so huggable, so cute. So the other thing I did, there was they said you could shape the ears. I didn't do that because, again, I didn't want to sew through all of that fiber fill. But also, I don't think he needs it. It looks pretty cute. There's a lot of none instead. So they had cheeks. The designer had cheeks that you could sew on that were really, really cute, that you could create and sew on. But what I did was I just painted the cheeks. So I do like to paint the cheeks of my characters a lot of times. So the way that I paint my cheeks, especially when it's on plush yarn, because if you use any kind of paint, so I don't like using makeup. I have used makeup before. It does rub off. It goes away. You have to reapply. If it's going to be a toy, if you're giving this as a toy to somebody or any kind of toy, I would not use makeup because kids can lick that. And so just like keep that as a consideration. And I mean, usually you would just do the sew on cheeks for kids, but just they rub off. They rub off on things. They rub on your clothes. It's not awesome. But what I do really, really enjoy is painting them on. So what I do is I mix acrylic paint, matte acrylic paint with some water. And the way that, so the one I use is this one. This is Folk Art, and this is crushed coral, sorry. It's one of my favorite colors for cheeks. They sell this at Michael's. It's a ton. This will last you a lifetime. I believe they also sell that brand of acrylic paint at Walmart, but they don't have all the colors. And so this coral color they wouldn't have. They would just have like really fuchsia pinks and some reds and stuff like that, which you can dilute, but I really like that color. And I have a few different shades for cheeks anyways. So what I do is I dilute it with water, and then I just have a makeup brush, and my makeup brush kind of looks like a sponge almost. Like it's those back in the day, makeup brushes were really like the cool makeup brushes. They almost look like a painting brush, like a toothbrush. That's what they look like. They had the shape of a toothbrush, but there was a makeup brush at the end. I don't know if I'm explaining myself. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. So I use that. I dip that in. I dab it on, and then I have a paper towel, and I kind of dab it off again until it dries it up. And I keep layering that until I have the effect I want, because that way it's not patchy. And to further eliminate the patch and make it kind of so you can see here how the cheeks kind of look like they're really part of the fibers, is I take a pet brush, like a dog brush, and I brush it out a little bit, not too hard because you don't want to pull any of your stitches. But I brush it out, and that fades it out more as well. So that's how I paint cheeks. And I think it's pretty cute. I think the colors are going to be really, really great with the purple mushroom head. And I'm really in love with it. Like, he's just... I'm going to have to steal this. Like, look. And I think in this case, because the head is kind of like sideways, it actually works really well because look at us hugging. Like, it literally... Like, he fits right into my face. It's perfect. Like, that angle is perfect for your face. Oh my God, I love him. So that's what we have so far, bums. And I am ready to go and do his mushroom cap. And then this guy will be done, and we can kind of like hang out for final thoughts. It's so cute. I just can't. She's going to love it. We're back in our bedroom again. It's a few days later. I was starting to get a little bit of project fatigue, and I'll talk about it in a second, but I did finish the cap. So about the cap, it was very much bigger. If I had followed the pattern to the amount of stitches that it said to do, this opening would have been basically the size, bigger than the belly of him. And I find that this happens a lot when you have objects or shapes that are in a round, and the original pattern was written for not a chunky, like a plushy yarn. You will see that things like heads and round caps and things like that, holes of any kind, they often tend to implode in size. And so that's, I think, when people were saying that their cap, they followed the stitches and their cap was so much larger than the head. That's likely, I feel like, what happened. Also, your stitches in this, so it's a very cool pattern for the underside of this, but that's what makes the circumference. But the stitches are generally, with how they're made, they are much looser because they are all kind of like a mix of several like single crochet, triple, doubles, half double. And so the way that you would be crocheting it, you'd be much looser in your hand. And so that would make it larger, of course, as opposed to something like a single crochet full stitch, which is what the rest of the head would be, which would be a tighter stitch and would make the object itself, the round object, much smaller in circumference. And so I'm pretty sure the combination of all these things is the reason that caps are coming out quite large for some people. And so knowing that ahead of time, thank God I watched some reviews on this, I instinctively reworked the pattern for myself. I made the opening, like I basically worked the shape until I had the size I needed. And then I worked it out from there. And then what I did was I recalculated all the increases and decreases for the cap. I also, because of my head, like the hat itself was smaller, what I actually ended up doing also is going through and getting rid of some of the single crochet rows on that kind of sat in between the decreases and increases, because otherwise it would have been much too long for the circumference. So I made it look pretty much the same as what the larger hat was, just there was more math and calculation done with it. But like I said, this took me probably an hour and a half to do, and another like 15 minutes to recalculate and figure it out. However, I am getting like fatigued from this project, and I have other stuff I'm working on. I also need to get going on designing Maurice the mouse, because I only have until we go on vacation in April, middle of April, to finish him off. And that means I have less than a month to get done, to have him tested and to have him tech edited. So there is a fire under my butt for this mouse. And he's really cute. He's going to have a little tail coat. So I'm pretty excited for him. So he has to get started. So I want to do some preliminary sketches on him today as well. And obviously I have like my job to do too. So I've got client stuff that I need to get going on. So the only thing that's left on this is the little toadstool spots, the little white spots that will go on this cap, and then sewing everything together. So I figure we can get that done like before I have to get started with all my other things. And I'm also here, it says to create like 5 small toadstools and 8 medium ones. I'm not going to do as many. Again, my cap is smaller, so that's going to save some time. So I'm thinking I'm going to get another like YouTube going, maybe watch some knitting videos or something, because I've been really into knitting lately. I'm finally kind of feeling more confident with it, and it's looking good. And so I want to watch some of those like podcast vlogs from other cool knitters on YouTube, and then get these toadstools done, and then attach everything together, and then we'll do like a final wrap up of our little mushroom guy. So come along for some toadstool making. It's literally just a bunch of circles. Enjoy! It is really hard to get him in the frame because he's so chunky. And yes, his head is a little bit wobbly because of the hat, but I feel like if I made it any bigger, it would have just been completely sideways. So I wanted to show this off. I think he turned out so cute. And I just kind of wanted to do like final thoughts and talk about some of the changes that I made, because there was like a few more changes that I kind of went through. So first of all, if you don't like to sew and you like no sew patterns, this probably isn't for you. There's a lot of pattern sewing in this pattern. And I wouldn't even say it's low sew, because of all of these like toadstools that you have to sew on his head. I personally usually really like to sew. But again, I was having kind of like project fatigue with this one. And so I was getting kind of over the sewing. I did have less toadstools to sew on. I did find a fast way to do it. So I kind of fed that middle. I have a lot of fluff on me from the sewing. I fed when you make, it's basically all magic rings, and some of them have increases and some of them don't. But that strand in the center, when you pull the magic ring closed, I fed that through the cap. And then I kind of sewed it around and then fed the other end through the cap too, and tied the two off together inside. And because like you can't see it in there, it doesn't matter. So that worked out really well and went by fast. The other thing that I did was, I wish there was a little bit more instruction. Like, I don't mind because I'm used to this, but like if you knew the instructions on how to sew the cap, like they were there, they were written. There was only like two pictures, one of kind of like putting the thread in and one of the hat on. And there was I wish there was a diagram for people on like which row you would put it on, because if you sewed this on the first row of that interior hole, it would just be like always this way, like even more so, right? Because he's a mushroom, right? So also I think the camera makes it look like he's sewed on closer to one eye than the other, but it's like exactly the same stitches around. So I don't know why it's doing that, but anyways, yeah, so there's that. So I had to kind of jig that up a little bit. I also did 2 rounds on this guy. I know it's only like recommended you do 1. I did go around twice on the stitching because, like I said, he's going to be a gift for a toddler, and so he's gonna be seeing his life flash before his eyes pretty much on a daily basis. And I really wanted to make sure the hat's secure, doesn't get ripped off, doesn't rip off his head threads or anything like that. So overall, it's not a hard pattern at all. It's a very easy pattern. If you were doing it in the plush, like in the big yarn, you might also get some project fatigue because it does take a while. The mushroom hat takes, I found, the longest to do, and so be prepared for that. If anything, see, I would say do this first so you don't get kind of like towards the end of it, but you really do need to calculate that cap. That's the other note on this, is that if you're using anything bought, like I believe that, I don't believe, but I think that this was probably originally designed in like either a cotton yarn or like a cotton blend yarn, probably more like a number 4, like weight, maybe worsted, but like I think it would probably be like a 4, if not a 3 that it was originally designed in. And then so when you go into the plush size, it takes you longer, right? And you do have to account for the head because your proportions might be a bit off depending on what you choose. I chose a blanket yarn, so that's probably going to be different than if you're using like a Premier Chunky, just be considerate. Do a gauge swatch if you have a chance, so do that. I don't remember if there was a gauge on this project or not. I don't think there was, but test out your gauge, see how it's looking, and yeah, be mindful of this. That's like the main tip I would give, is don't immediately just follow the pattern when you're doing the cap. When you're doing that undercap, continue to measure around the head where you want it to sit, just to make sure that it fits right. And I mean, overall though, like, this is so cute. I am so incredibly proud. Like, all the little toadstools are looking super cute. His face, and also, let's just zoom in on him. The color of the eyes, just matching that cap perfectly, is I just love it. It's such a good touch. I really love the size of the eyes on this. And I just love his like plump little body. He's very huggable. So I definitely recommend this pattern if you're looking for like a fun project for yourself or for like a kid as a birthday present. Also, you can make it in like if you do it in the Katona yarn, for example, which is basically like a number 2 weight, he would be like this big. He'd probably be the same size as Archibald. Like he would be tiny, which would be so cute. I might make another version of him in the Katona yarn for my desk with maybe like a different colored eyes and hat, because I just think he's so cute and I would love to have a miniature of him. So overall, love the pattern. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. Let me know if there's any other patterns that you want me to do, like a crochet or a knitting vlog on, because I am knitting more now. I'm still just doing socks, so brace yourself. But my next project is I'm going to be doing a beanie. And then after that, I am hoping to tackle a sweater or maybe a sweater vest. We'll see. But so if you have any projects in crochet or knitting that you want me to try out, then definitely comment in the sections. And the family is all here now. I can kind of hear them outside the door. So I'm going to go and kind of finish this vlog off. I hope you liked it. Thank you so much if you are subscribed. I hope you do subscribe if you haven't already, if you made it all the way to the end. And if you want to see more like this. As always, hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful week and weekend. And I will talk to you next week. Happy crocheting. Bye.